Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soul Test Podcast with your friend Ankita Juneja. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and be part of this tribe. In this episode, I will be sharing with you a recently asked question to me. How do you stay motivated and how do you do podcast and YouTube along with your other work? Answer to this is it's not about motivation. Often we rely upon motivation, like when we feel motivated, that's how we prefer doing certain things. But that's not the case always. I have seen throughout this 2 years of my journey that it's not always a motivation that drives you. It's about you have to show up despite you feeling motivated or not. I also want to tell you something real over here. As I'm starting this after a pause, which was quite a good pause from my end, I am finding it hard to actually show up to record podcast and video. I am seeing like I feel blank at times, like what I should go and talk about. The reason to this is, when we start something new, we don't know how to do it. I think that's similar what you experience when you take pause from anything that you do. You feel clueless because you are not in a habit of doing that things. So just like the way starting some things feels challenging, I think restarting gives you the similar energy. No matter how much you have done it before, but to build that momentum, it feels like a bit of challenge. But the only way to overcome that thing is by doing. And I am seeing like I'm not actually highly motivated at the moment to record episode for all of you. But for me, somewhere in back of my mind, I had the pressure of my deadline, like I have to record the podcast so that it can come out. So more than motivation, it is about the discipline to show up, not just giving so much of thought and keeping into consideration the feelings which we feel. Is just about doing certain things. And yeah, at that time you will see all kind of thoughts which can come to your mind, like it might not be good, no one will listen, this and that. All the things that can hold you back will come to your mind. But then you just have to remind yourself one thing: the only control you have is about creating. The creation is only thing that you have control over. The outcome, likes, dislike, reach and all, will never be in your control. And this is something which even I heard today. The only thing that matters to you is creation. So give your best while you're creating, and as you're creating, why not even enjoy it? Because when you enjoy, it will feel effortless to you. So I want to say to each one of you who is feeling unmotivated at the moment, who is not high in energy, and if something is holding you back, just keep that thing aside and do it anyway, because that's the only solution sometime you have. Rather, most of the time that's the only solution. Nobody feels high when they are actually lifting a heavy weight. We only feel high after we have done it. That's how the weight training is, and this is something similar to that. You will only feel good once you have created what you wanted to create. So rather than relying upon one aspect of thing, see it from a broader perspective, like how you can make it interesting for you. Also, the other thing I want to tell each one of you over there is, most of the time we wait for certain time, certain things. We all have experienced this thing some or the other way. But these are all the things that is holding you back. You will realize this thing, and this even I realize. Even I have started, I have done so many things. There is nothing like a regret. But sometimes I feel like I could have done this thing before. I should have started certain thing before. This will always be a feeling that you will have inside of you. There will be always one voice that will tell you once you start something, like you could have done it before. So if someone out there is still going through this process where you want to do certain things but you are not finding that momentum, that internal voice is somewhere holding you back, I think I have also restarted doing this thing. Again, I mentioned this thing in my first podcast, like I have prolonged this process, but I know there comes a time when you just have to do it. So if you are listening to that voice, just go and do it. I am also prepared, like some of the podcast or videos might not be that great or amazing because I am restarting. It might take a while for me to bring back that energy and come into the loop, but as long as I'm doing, how does it matter? Is it good or bad? Because everything is so subjective. If you are resonating with the topic, you might find even this episode as an inspiring one. If this is not something of your interest, even if I make the best episode, you might not feel resonance. So sometimes it's not about me, it's about what do you want to listen, and it's all about in which journey you are. And that's the thing with all the creators out there. There are tons of information and knowledge, but I won't go and read all the book. If that book or the genre is not of my interest, no matter how the amazing author is, writer is, I won't go and read their book, because that is not something something that resonate with me. That's the similar thing. Each creation is beautiful in its own way. It's just like right people will find your craft. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because I came across some conversation and I just told that person the same thing. Like, it's not about, everyone will like you. You're not meant to be liked by everyone. The right person will like you. So don't be disheartened when you see like so many people are not appreciating you. The right people will appreciate you, and it's not about just now. Sometimes it also happens like people find certain things later on when they are looking for it. So don't just be narrow minded or narrow focused where you are just considering like why certain things are not working now. Sometimes it's also about timing. When it's right time, things just get rediscovered. Let me give you a beautiful example over here. All the quotes that we hear from Rumi, that is not from now. He is a poet from 13th century, which is medieval era, and it is called as the Islamic Golden Age. Let me tell you a little more over here about Rumi because I have actually googled it, and from there I'm sharing this with all of you. So he died in 1273 in Konya. Have you ever heard about Konya, which is now called as Turkey? But see, all over the world, Rumi is so relevant in today's time also. I think when he even wrote all this thing, he might not have thought like this piece of paper, all the poetry he have written back in 13th century will be relevant in today's world also. So sometimes we don't know when certain things will actually click. We never know what impact our creation, our art will have. This is the same case with Michelangelo. If you go and read about him, you will also find so many relevance about him also. The thing I want to tell with all this example is sometimes we get stuck by considering like we are not getting the immediate result. We are not seeing certain things in a quick basis. We are so used to with the swipe culture, Zomato and Swiggy, that we want everything instantly. But when I actually read about the delay gratification thing, I actually felt that concept to be so true. And all these things are actually an example when you see about Rumi. There are tons of people like that who became famous or who became known after they have died since ages. So the point over here is just don't be attached to the outcome. Just do your part. Just create what you're guided to create. The reason there is that nudge, the reason that you feel like doing certain things is because I think it is meant for you. I know when I was starting this journey, there was something inside of me that was screaming. I was going through a parallel journey where I was figuring out lot of things, but I found after trying so many things, this was the thing that gave me joy. And actually this is the most consistent thing that I have ever done. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have seen a different level of satisfaction inside of me. When I come and record this thing, I feel lighter. I feel like as if something heavy has been released from within me. And this is the expression that you can just feel once you start doing certain things that your soul wants to experience. So this is way deeper. This is not just a superficial thing. Once you start doing certain things, once you start taking action towards the thing that your soul is guiding you towards, you will just realize how blissful you feel once you do that thing. This has been a very different conversation. Even I didn't know where this will take and where it will turn, but I am feeling so good as I am toward end of this episode, and I feel and I think that someone out there might needed to hear this thing, and I hope that you will find relevance out of it, and this will actually inspire you in some way or the other to take that first step. That's what I wish and pray from this episode, that this episode reaches to anyone out there who was actually doubting their first step, who wanted to start something. I hope like you find your answer in this episode. On a concluding note, I just want to say you, this is how you feel. You will actually feel high in life once you start doing the things that your soul want to experience. Not just for out there for sake of doing things, but the things that actually brings you joy. This is one of those things which actually makes me happy. When I do this thing, I know like the only control I have over is just to do this, and I just show up that way, hoping that my voice, by doing this thing, someone out there will find it helpful. So let me know in the comment section what do you think about this episode. I'm looking forward to connect with all of you in my next episode. Sending you lots of love and light. Signing off from my side. Until next time, keep shining bright. Bye bye.